You're watching Football Daily, and it's that time of year where we suggest 10 players you guys at home should keep an eye out for next season. 10. Takefusa Kubo. Intelligent, rapid, messy. Just some of the words used to describe Takefusa Kubo, the 18-year-old who grew up in Barcelona's famed La Masia, but ended up playing for rivals Real Madrid. Described as the Japanese Messi, it's said that after his first training session with Los Blancos, he blew away the coaches. Originally, the number 10 was to feature in Real Madrid's B team Castilla. However, Zidane is now said to want him in the first team. Last season, Kubo played for FC Tokyo, contributing to a goal every 128 minutes, where he was taking 2 shots per 90, making 2 key passes, and attempting 6.7 dribbles, completing 4 of them per game. Now, this was in 1,000 minutes of action, and we expect these numbers to fall come his time in Spain. As always, being given the next Messi title is a lot of pressure for a teenager to have. Look at Martin Odegaard's start to his Bernabeu career. But if the midfielder is given time to adapt and enough minutes, much like Vinicius Jr.'s involvement this season, we may see the Japanese youngster thrive into a possible star. And if you want to stay up to date with Kubo's future and everyone else's on this list, make sure you subscribe to the channel and click the notification bell so you don't miss a single video. 9. Rob Holding. Since joining Arsenal in 2016 for £2 million, Rob Holding has had a difficult time struggling to make it into the starting 11, only featuring 31 times in the Premier League over his 3 years at the Emirates. This can be put down to 2 reasons. Koscielny, Mertesacker, Socrates and Mustafi have all been ahead of him in the pecking order, and an injury he got last season saw him miss 37 games. However, the 2019-20 season seems like a new era for Holding. Now 23, the defender's time may be coming to lead the back line. Koscielny looks like he's off, Mustafi doesn't seem trusted to lace up his boots, and it only leaves Chambers and Socrates in his way. In 2018-19, Holding featured in 16 Premier League matches, winning 11 and drawing 5, keeping 6 clean sheets in the process, whilst also averaging 2.6 tackles and interceptions per 90 minutes. In fact, of players aged 23 and under, Holding came second for the most passes per game. And an aerial win rate of 70% shows he can handle himself in the Premier League. Having yet to reach 10 starts in the league since joining Arsenal, once he's back from the sideline, Holding will be hoping this season can be the beginning of a fruitful career. He'll just need to make sure this injury is a one-off. 8. Che Adams. 5 years ago, striker Che Adams was turning out for the semi-professional side Ilkeston in the Northern Premier League. The intervening years have been tough on Ilkeston, who were wound up and restarted in 2017. But Adams has been on a straight path to the top, turning out for Sheffield United in League One before spending 3 campaigns with Birmingham, where he netted 22 league goals in 2018-19 to earn a £15 million move to Southampton. Given that one of Adams' middle names is Everton, the Saints can be happy that they beat the Toffees to his signature. And the stats make enjoyable reading too. With 26 goal involvements, only 3 players exceeded Adams' contribution, and the English striker did it in a side which finished 17th, the 23-year-old having a hand in 41% of Birmingham's goals. That was an overperformance of his expected goals, which puts him closer to the mid-teens, and his shot numbers need to improve as well, currently sitting on just 2.7 per game, a way off top class. However, he is a creative and mobile attacker, racking up 1.6 key passes per game, a figure which would place him 4th in Southampton's squad from 2018-19. With a great manager in Hassan Hüttl on the touchline guiding him, Adams could be a name we hear a lot more of this season. 7. Ethan Ampadu. RB Leipzig have a very exciting campaign on the horizon. Manager Julian Nagelsmann is now at the helm, they've seemingly managed to keep hold of Timo Werner for another 6 months, and have 19 players out of 30 under the age of 21. One of these players is Ethan Ampadu, who the German side acquired on loan from Chelsea for the upcoming season. The defender joined the Blues in 2017 when he was 16, after playing first-team football for Exeter City back in League Two, making his debut at 15. Since then, the Welsh international has played just 690 minutes of first-team football for Chelsea. In fact, he made more appearances for his country than his club last season. Ampadu's versatility should see him get more minutes in Leipzig, with him already featuring in central midfield during pre-season. Last year, the defensive-minded player made 3.7 tackles and interceptions per game. However, he's also got the ability to pass, as he grabbed an assist in 2 Welsh starts and completed 4.7 long balls a match. If the 18-year-old has a solid season in the Bundesliga and earns his stripes, he may just be Chelsea's defensive linchpin for over a decade to come. 6. Moise Kean. With his transfer to Everton completed for a potential £36.6 million, the 19-year-old will have all eyes on him this season in the Premier League. Last campaign in the Serie A, Kean managed to net 6 times in just 536 minutes, a goal every 89 mins. Now, before people get too excited, it is worth keeping in mind that the teenager has played less than 1,700 minutes of league action during his short career between parent club Juventus and Verona. That's less than 19 full games. Everton have struggled to replace Lukaku since he left, especially in goals. Since 2017, the Merseyside club have bought 3 strikers and seen only 21 goals, over half of them coming from Richarlison last season. Kean could be the answer to this problem. His rough XG is 9 at Juventus, and he's actually scored 10 throughout his career. His shot location is also very good, with 88% of his shots coming from inside the box. The Italian is okay creatively, with 0.5 key passes a game. However, he'll have to increase his defensive work if he's to fit into Marco Silva's side, as he averages 0.5 tackles and interceptions per 90 minutes. Time is something that will benefit the forward, especially as Everton create a lot of their opportunities through crosses, not something his particular skill set is matched for. But with his ability to turn defenders and run at goal, he'll offer Everton a different style they could need. 5. Mason Mount. This season we'll see a lot of new faces playing at Stamford Bridge. With a season-long transfer ban, Chelsea will have to use all the players at their disposal to make it through the 4 competitions they're in this year. One player we believe you'll need to keep an eye on is 20-year-old Mason Mount. During a season-long loan at Derby under his current manager, Mount managed to record 11 goals and 6 assists, as he helped the Derbyshire side to the playoff final. So far, the midfielder has already caused headaches for Lampard, having been one of the standouts in pre-season, contributing to 4 goals and putting himself at the front of the race for being in the starting lineup come the 11th of August. Over the past few campaigns, we've seen players come up from the Championship and prove their worth. James Maddison, Joe Gomez and John Stones all started in the 2nd division, and have made it to the top, and there's nothing to suggest that Mason Mount cannot do the same. The youngster averaged 1.9 key passes last season, whilst also taking 2.5 shots per 90, and that's not mentioning his extremely successful spell at Vitesse in 2017-18, where he won the Player of the Season award. Ross Barkley and Ruben Loftus-Cheek will need to have their best performances in order to get into the side. 4. Adrien Rabiot. Last campaign, we spoke a lot about the future of Adrien Rabiot and where it lay. Now 24, the Frenchman spent the last year being shunned by his ex-club PSG after falling out with people behind the scenes. Moving on a free to Juventus will hopefully see Rabiot shine and remind us all that he's a very gifted player. For Sarri's system to work, he needs a ball-carrying midfielder. Kovacic and Kante did this at Chelsea, and Alan was the man at Napoli. However, at Juve, there's not many players better in the world at ball progressions than Rabiot. 10.7 deep progressions per 90, 1.8 dribbles completed, nearly 5 tackles and interceptions per game, and a 92% pass success last season shows that even though he only got just over 1,000 Ligue 1 minutes, he's still a very exciting player, whose numbers aren't too dissimilar to that of Frenkie de Jong. If you're expecting crazy goal contribution numbers from the midfielder in 2019-20, then you'll be disappointed, as he's never had more than 6 in a campaign, because rather than making the final pass or finishing the chance, Rabiot is the player who most often starts the attack and progresses the ball forward. Now, we've hyped Adrien Rabiot a lot since the beginning of his career, and we feel this season will be the year everybody sees why. 3. Lautaro Martinez. Inter Milan fans are anticipating a very exciting 2019-20 campaign with Antonio Conte at the helm, and talks of big signings like Romelu Lukaku to bolster their attack. But they have a very capable striker on their books already. This isn't Mauro Icardi, whose future clearly lies away from the San Siro, but instead his compatriot, 22-year-old Lautaro Martinez. The young Argentine joined the Nerazzurri last summer, and Inter clearly have a superstar on their hands. His 6 goals in 27 Serie A appearances actually underperformed his XG, which had him closer to 8 for the season. His 2.4 shots and expected goals and assists of 0.73 per 90 makes for pretty reading, especially when you compare it to Icardi's 2.5 and 0.76 for last year. Presuming Icardi's departure, Martinez would almost be a perfect replacement. The forward has already made his mark on the international stage too with 11 caps, more than Icardi, and has scored 6 goals, which is more than Dybala. He looks set to become an integral part of the Argentina setup as they gear up for the 2022 World Cup qualification campaign. Conte should definitely put his trust in the young gun instead of paying handsomely for someone else. 2. João Felix. Officially the third most expensive player of all time, behind only Mbappe and Neymar, João Felix will have the season of his life ahead of him in 2019-20, having to fill the boots of Antoine Griezmann, who contributed to 24 goals last year, 44% of the club's total. The youngster, who like Griezmann is a mix of a forward and an attacking midfielder, was a regular for Benfica by the end of the year, and earned his first call-up to the Portuguese national side. In the league, his numbers rival any veterans, getting involved in 22 goals in 21 starts and averaging a contribution every 79 minutes. Now, Felix isn't much of a dribbler, completing just 17 all season, but his shot locations were superb, with 3.5 total and 2.7 from inside the box, while his 1.5 key passes suggest he can combine well with Alvaro Morata and Diego Costa. To compete in one of the world's toughest leagues may mean the Portuguese will have to bulk up. However, against Real Madrid in pre-season, he seemed to handle himself, scoring 1 and assisting 2 in a 7-3 victory. His first assist came 44 seconds after the kickoff whistle. £113 million may seem expensive right now, however, in a year's time, we may be saying this is rather cheap for a potential world beater. 1. Phil Foden. A lot has been said about Phil Foden over the past few years. His manager Pep Guardiola recently came out to say Phil is the most talented player I have ever seen in my career as a manager. The same man who managed Messi, the world's greatest ever player. Last season, the Englishman got the most time he's received in a City shirt, just 330 Premier League minutes, roughly 3.6 games, where he scored 1 goal in an important 1-0 win over Spurs. To compete with David Silva, Kevin De Bruyne, Bernardo Silva and more is a hard ask for a 19-year-old. But if there's one player who will do it at City, it'll be the number 47. With the success of Jadon Sancho at Dortmund, minutes at top clubs is something that young English players have access to, and if City want to not only keep Foden but improve him as well, that's what they need to offer. Completing 1.7 key passes per 90, 2 dribbles and 2 shots per game, Foden has all the assets an attacking midfielder needs to be successful, and is someone Premier League defenders should start doing their research on. So those were our 10 players to watch this coming season, but have we missed out anyone? Let us know in the comments below or on Twitter. If you've enjoyed this video and want more, click the video on screen right now, and as always guys, don't forget to like and subscribe.